So first, I just want to remind people, if you have questions, please be sure to to get us your index cards if you're here, online, all the various places. We're still monitoring those. And again, just before I head out, I do want to thank everyone for attending. I know it's a Saturday, the providers, the UC system. Isaac, I didn't mention our IT guru and Eric from virtually. Thank you very much. Want to remind you that we are recording and we'll be sharing all of the presentations, not the Q&A. So don't leave us because there's a Q&A afterwards. Please answer the survey. I swear we are all reading these things. So I want to tell you a little bit about AIM. You've heard lots of great information. There is a lot more out there. There's just no way. This is a good thing. There's no way it all could be done, I'm sure, even in a day. So that's where your providers and where AIM, we want to come in and help share that information and help answer your questions. So we have lots and lots of resources. So when I told you how the foundation was started, the purpose of the foundation was to build a fresh frozen primary tissue bank, which we have done. But it took us a lot of years to get to the point to build this tissue bank. We're now collecting. So in the interim, we decided to keep ourselves a little busy. And so in the process, we built what is probably the most comprehensive website on melanoma. We actually, by the way, have a non-melanoma skin cancer one. I just want to throw out skincancerinfo.org. It's the toddler version, so give us a few years. So in the interim, we built this very comprehensive non-melanoma website. We are actually international. We have sites, we have advocates we work with in Europe, Australia, and so forth. But what are those resources? How are they going to help me? So I'm just going to highlight just a few of them. So one of the questions, so we have a physician assistant who works with us. And one of the biggest questions patients and families have are, how do I recognize and manage those side effects? Because you want to stay on treatment. Those treatments are hopefully helping you. And if you can stay on the treatment, often you can improve your overall survival, which is exactly what we want to do, but we want to have a quality of life doing it. So for each of the treatments, I apologize, the one for Kimtrek is not yet done. We're working on that, but it's to help you recognize and manage them along with of course, your healthcare team so that you can remain on treatment. So you can find those on the website. I mentioned our PA, that is Melissa Wilson. She's actually a melanoma lead at one of the academic centers here in the US. She is a service that we offer at no charge. You can email her with your general melanoma questions. We get a lot of questions about side effect management. You heard about clinical trials. That's another thing. What do I do once I fail my conventional treatments? What next? She is there for you. She has a webinar series, which is which a little further down, but she has a webinar series. We actually have one coming up later this month about vaccines. I don't think we even got to vaccines. That's now stuff that's being explored. We're so used to hearing about vaccines with COVID. Well, there's stuff happening in melanoma as well. Again, clinical trial matching service. Why do we have it? Because patients are looking about trials. If you're not on one now, you want to know maybe what your next options are down the road. So we have that. We have a video library of all of these past symposiums. We run 10 a year at the throughout the US. And so we record them all the presentations, and we store those. I mentioned the webinars, lots of webinars Melissa does. It's called From the Clinic to the Living Room. She brings in a guest host. So the one on vaccines, for example, is with Dr. Hamid. And so then we're going to have others down the road. But again, it's all in our library. Podcasts. We also want to address, of course, the emotional needs of those in the melanoma community. And so Dr. Liu, who's the director of survivorship at KP here in San Francisco, has a podcast series that comes out every month addressing all of the emotional issues, some of them, again, so many of them. It's not just taking care of the body, but also the mind as well. So we've had topics about how to be a parent and trying to have a discussion with your children about cancer if you've been diagnosed. Lots and lots of different issues. Survivor stories, again, it's about taking care of us emotionally and hearing from other patients and caregivers and what they have experiencing. We have that. We have lots of those different stages, some of the subtypes, all the subtypes as well. The peer-to-peer support program, we are matching, we call them veterans, people who have been, unfortunately, in the space for some time and want to help support somebody who is newly diagnosed. We match people together. It can be a one-time phone call, emails back and forth, whatever the two of you decide. We can help you with that. And then, of course, one of the other ways of getting together and being with people who understand what you're going through. One of the great things about, you mentioned earlier about these in-person events, you get to be around people, that emotional connection of being in the same room, in the same space of people who understand what you're going through. So we have our Steps Against Melanoma walks. And so since I am in the Bay Area, I do want to, Bob, you're going to raise your hand. So if you're in the room, Bob is generous enough to be overseeing our walk here in the Bay Area. I think it's Golden State Park we're hoping for.
I'm not sure.
We're working on that. But we're going to be having that in September. I know we have Southern California online as well. We're going to be doing one in the LA area as well. But we have to hold these all throughout the US. I know it's about raising money for research. That is why we started this foundation. We are going to find a cure for this disease. I promise you. So I get a little bit emotional. It's like, you could imagine, but it's about also being together and supporting each other. And so you don't have to raise money to be a part of that walk. So I want to encourage all of you to do that. So without any further delay, we all have questions, I am sure. But if you think of something after the fact, I really want to encourage you to reach out to your provider, of course, whether you are part of the UC system or not, or if you want to reach out to Melissa through AIM, you are certainly welcome to do that. Thank you.